There are a lot of beautiful homes in Kelowna, at all kinds of price points. And whether you're looking at a cozy townhome or a lakeview property, there are some real opportunities out there for buyers. But not every home is a smart buy. Some properties might look great on the surface, but come with hidden issues that can cost you a fortune later on, or make it harder to sell when the time comes. There are also some homes you should never buy, or at least never buy without knowing exactly what you're getting into. So in this video, we're breaking down the types of houses you should never buy in Kelowna, or at least the ones you shouldn't unless you've got a plan and a budget to deal with the risks. Let's get into it. The first type of home you should never buy in Kelowna, unless you know what you're dealing with, is a home with poly B plumbing. This stuff was used in homes between the late 1970s and the mid 1990s. It might look fine now, but poly B breaks down over time, especially with treated water like we have here in Kelowna. And that can lead to slow leaks, water damage, and expensive insurance claims. And here's the thing, the cost to fix it can vary a lot. I had a client replace the poly B in a mobile home for around $3,000. It wasn't that big of a deal because most of the pipes are accessible from underneath the unit. But I've also had a client quoted over $20,000 to replace poly B in a 3-bedroom home. That job involved opening up the walls, replacing all the plumbing, repairing the drywall, and repainting almost the entire house. So it's not always a deal breaker, but it's definitely something to factor in. Ask your inspector to look for poly B, or if you're working with me, we'll take a look during the initial showing under the sinks and around the hot water tank to see if there are any signs of this type of plumbing. It's usually gray or blue and can be stamped with PB 2110. If it's there, get a quote before you remove your subjects, and confirm your insurance provider is willing to cover the home. Some won't unless you replace the plumbing altogether. Plumbing issues can be costly, but electrical problems can be just as serious, and sometimes even more urgent. The second type of home to be careful with is one that still has outdated electrical. Older areas of Kelowna, places like South Pandosy, the North End, and some rural properties often still have outdated electrical systems. You might run into aluminum wiring, old 60 amp panels, or some questionable DIY work. And while everything might seem to work on the surface, these systems can be a fire hazard and usually can't handle modern power needs, especially if you're planning to add something like an EV charger or a hot tub. The solution? Hire a certified electrician to do a full inspection and budget for an upgrade. Ideally, you want at least a 100 amp or 200 amp panel with copper wiring that meets today's code, especially if you want that hot tub, an EV charger, or to add an income suite. Third on the list are homes in high wildfire risk zones. We all love the views and the outdoor lifestyle, but wildfire is a real and growing risk in Kelowna. If you're looking in areas like the Upper Mission, Wilden, Black Mountain, or certain parts of Lake Country, you're probably shopping near the wildland urban interface. That means higher insurance costs, more pressure during fire season, and a bigger responsibility for protecting your home. And unfortunately, wildfires aren't completely avoidable. We've seen fires jump valleys, jump the lake, cut off neighborhoods, and create sudden evacuation orders with very little warning. And that's one thing I always tell buyers to look for, beyond just the house, is the exit routes. Does the neighborhood have more than one road in or out? If you have to ever evacuate, having a secondary route could make a major difference in how quickly and safely you can get out. So here's how you can be proactive. Look for fire-resistant roofing and siding, create defensible space, clear the brush and flammable materials within 10 meters of the house, and check if the area has had a recent fire smart assessment. And don't forget to talk to your insurance provider before removing subjects, especially in higher risk zones. Wildfire coverage is still available, but premiums and deductibles can vary widely depending on where you're buying. Next up on the list of homes you should never buy in Kelowna are homes with mold risks or poor ventilation. Kelowna homes, especially older ones or those with finished basements and crawl spaces, are prone to moisture buildup. And without proper airflow, that moisture leads to mold, usually in the corners that we can't see. But this is true of homes in any city. But here's what a lot of people do miss. Homes that were previously used as marijuana grow ops, whether legally or illegally, and even if they've been professionally remediated, can still have hidden mold issues, compromised ventilation, or lingering damage behind the walls. What you can do to avoid this or mitigate the risk is you can ask directly if the home was ever used as a grow op and review the property disclosure statement properly. Use a home inspector who uses thermal imaging and does air quality testing, and budget for mold remediation if anything's found. And even in homes without a history like that, adding proper ventilation, dehumidifiers, or a modern HVAC system can go a long way. And finally, you should never buy homes with poor resale potential. This last one might not show up in a home inspection, but it's just as important. You have to watch out for your resale potential. Even if the home works great for your needs right now, you want to make sure you're not buying something that's going to be hard to sell later. Homes that are in a bad location with a bad floor plan or anything with an odd architectural style can be difficult to sell when it's time for your next move. For example, take a home on a busy street like Harvey Avenue, parts of Gordon Drive, or Springfield Road. If you're not from Kelowna, here's what you need to know. Harvey Ave is Highway 97. That's the main highway running through the city. It's how we move goods up and down the Okanagan, so think 18-wheelers, gravel trucks, oversized loads, and big transport rigs, plus the constant hum of everyday traffic. And it's not just the daytime noise, you've also got cars with loud exhaust, motorcycles, modified trucks, all hours of the day and night. Even if you're in a newer building with decent windows, you'll rarely get any true quiet time, and that applies to both houses and condos along this corridor. Springfield and Gordon are also major routes within the city that get a lot of traffic, so you want to watch out for these areas. Have you ever lived on a busy road? Let me know in the comments, because I'm curious if you got used to it or if it drove you crazy. Now, not everyone minds traffic noise, but the resale pool for those properties is always smaller. And if the market shifts or inventory climbs, those homes are often the first to sit. And if you have a bad floor plan or uncommon architectural style, the buyer pool will also be smaller and make it more difficult to sell in the future. Other red flags to look out for resale are unpermitted suites, strange layouts like we mentioned, or ones with no natural light or no proper dining space, and limited yard access or no off-street parking. So before you fall in love, ask yourself this: would I buy this again in 5 years? And would the next buyer want to? Ask your realtor to pull comparable resale data in the area, because resale isn't just about the house. It's also about location, lifestyle, and long-term value. So those are the 5 types of homes I'd approach with caution here in Kelowna. None of them are automatically off limits or always deal breakers, but you want to go in with your eyes open, your inspections thorough, and your numbers sharp. If you've made it this far in the video and have found this information useful, hit the like and subscribe buttons, or if you're ready to talk about your next move, there's a link in the description to book a call with me. And if you'd like to see exactly what's happening in the Kelowna real estate market right now, check out this playlist right here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.